Hi guys, it's Charmer here, or you can call me Charms. Welcome back, or welcome to my channel. So in today's video I thought it would just be fun to talk about my gap year experience, because not a lot of people I know have actually taken a gap year before going to university. Well, I've finished university now, but I thought it would be a good idea to just tell you guys what it is I got up to, what I thought of my gap year, if I recommend it, that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's just a little bit of a different video, and you guys can get to know me a little bit more. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Your tea ready, your water ready, whatever it is, so we can sit down, have a little bit of a chit chat. And yeah, so I took my gap year in 2016 to 2017. I think I'll just start with why it is I took the gap year. So basically, I don't know if you watched my Get to Know Me video, but in my A-levels I literally had like such a hard time in terms of like my health and like, things just not going so great for me. It was very draining for me, so I thought it would be a good idea for me to take some time out, take some time to find myself, just like the cringe cliche thing, but there's no other way I can describe it, because I just felt so lost. I didn't know like who I was anymore type thing. I know it sounds dramatic, but the thing is, when you have like something life-changing, it's just kind of like you just need to reevaluate who you are, and just I just needed to just ground myself a little bit and just take time out from studying, because guys, school education is just all stressful in general. And for me personally, I put a lot of pressure on myself to do really well. So I think if I went to university straight away after having a stressful 2 years of my A-levels, I just don't think I would have applied myself as much as I did. Yeah, so anyway, so I took the gap year. I was working in a hotel at the time. So I'd worked in that hotel for 2 years during my A-levels anyways, and then I continued to work there during the summer. But to be honest, it was just like, I just wasn't liking it anymore. Like, I don't know about you guys, but once I've worked a job for like a year and a half to 2 years, it's just time for a change. So for me, I just wasn't really feeling it. It wasn't really the right job for me. So I started looking for other jobs and stuff like that. And luckily, actually, I used to work with this chef at this job, and he actually organized an interview for me whilst I was on shift. Oh my god, guys, it was literally the craziest thing. I was literally like, if you work as a waitress, so I had like a section in the restaurant, and there was this like open interviews taking place in the conference room in the hotel I worked in. And obviously you shouldn't do this, I don't recommend you do, but then like I would sneak off, go into the conference room, take my CV, did a little like chit chat, like interview for like 5 minutes, and like, guys, if my manager had found me doing that, I literally 100% would have gone fired. But I was really desperate for another job, and this opportunity literally came out of nowhere, so I was like, whatever, like I'm gonna take it, I want to leave anyways. So anyways, thankfully that company decided to hire me. So then like for me, it was actually like a fresh start for my gap year, because the company that I joined was a fresh like startup. So then I thought, it's a good idea, because it's my gap year, like I'll go into a job where like, I don't have to be the new person or the new girl, you know how it is. So in the first few weeks of that job, it was actually really fun. Like, it was just trainings, like 9 to 5, but then it was very sociable, and like, because everybody was new, so it was very much like, it was easy to walk up to people, get to know them and stuff like that. And it was honestly the perfect job for me, because it was like the first time I was really putting myself out there in terms of like socializing and stuff like that. And obviously I knew I'd be working full time, so then it was like I had to make friends with those people and stuff. And luckily it was actually a really good bunch of people, really chilled out and stuff, and it was okay. And yeah, so then when I started working that job, I also thought, okay, this is my opportunity to basically try out lots of different things and see what it is I want to do with my life, the direction I want to take it in and stuff. So I always had an interest in like singing, modeling, traveling, and I intended on doing all of those things in my gap year, because what other time would I have to, explore my interests other than the gap year, you know what I mean? So yeah, so then I started like going for like open casting, stuff like that, for modeling. I went and got like my portfolio done in London. I wish I had the portfolio. I might just insert some pictures from it, like just around the screen somewhere, so you guys can have a look at the kind of pictures that I took, because I was really passionate about the whole modeling thing and stuff like that. And then also at the same time I started doing my YouTube where I was doing singing music covers. Listen, seeing you are you listening, cleansing my soul of addiction for now, 'cause I'm falling apart. To like September, so some of my friends already started going to like university and stuff like that, and for me that was really difficult because I was just there like, damn, like I'm literally gonna be like I live in Oxford. I was like, I'll literally be in Oxford just like all by myself. Like it was really hard for me because I'm a very extroverted person, so like the idea of not having as many people to like hang out with, see and stuff like that, it was really daunting and it was really scary because I just didn't know how I would cope. But at the end of the day, like this was going to be a learning experience and I was going to do it anyways. Like I just don't think you should ever do things or stop yourself from doing stuff just because other people aren't doing it. And it wasn't really that bad anyways, because I could go and see my friends in their uni towns and stuff, and it would actually give me something to do in my gap year, you know, go explore other towns and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so then like for me going to London for open castings and stuff like that was actually just like a regular thing, trying to get some, you know, jobs here and there. There was one shoot that I did for this girl who had like a sunglasses brand, and which was really fun and stuff like that. But then it's just like she ended up not sending me any of the pictures, or like what's it called, like sending me the pictures that she took of me or anything like that. But that's the reality, I guess. I feel like modeling and stuff like that, it's just very competitive and it's very cutthroat and stuff like that. And I just wish this is something that I knew, because like when I go to the castings in London, guys, no word of a lie, like some of them would just say to you like, you're too big, or you know, your look doesn't really match what it is we're looking for, or like your face hasn't got the right proportions and stuff like that. There was no sugarcoating it. And I feel like, just disclaimer, like right now, if you're thinking of getting into it, you really need to have like thick skin, and just not let things get to you or take it too personally. And for me, like it was really weird because at the time, like I was literally like so skinny, like I was so small. So for me to be told like stuff like you're too big, or you know, your measurements don't really, you know, add up to what it is that we're looking for, picked on, you know, about your body shape, your body type, you know, it can really affect your self-esteem, your self-confidence, and just general just self-love, like how you feel about yourself. And eventually that's what led me to pretty much quit the whole modeling thing and stuff. So I'll obviously explain that a little bit just like in a second. So anyways, but I did do some positive like shoots. For example, there was this lady I worked with who knew that I was, you know, trying out for this modeling thing and everything, and she was I think an aspiring photographer, or she just had an interest in photography. And we did a shoot, and she has, I'm gonna insert some pictures just around the screen, and it was really fun and really just like enjoyable, just stress-free, judgment-free zone. And it actually made me realize why it is that I like doing the whole modeling thing, you know. And anyways, like, you know, a few months on, in March of 2017, I ended up like auditioning for Oxford fashion show. So that was happening in Oxford, and I, you know, thankfully got selected. I walked for like 3 designers. I can't remember the other 2 because they're much smaller, but I did walk for Karen Millen. I remember that was one of them. I'm actually going to insert a video like on the screen somewhere so you guys can have a look, and it was actually a really fun experience, and like it was just really good, really positive and everything. But I will say one thing, it was like, you know, because obviously on the casting days or on the day of the show and stuff, you do get to spend like a long time with other models and stuff. And it was actually just like alarming for me seeing how like some girls were scared to eat, or like they were scared to like drink, you know, fear of being bloated and stuff like that. Like there was another show that I did called like an Afro something show. And yeah, there were just like people there who were just scared to just eat because they didn't want to be bloated or whatever. And you know, keep in mind, it's probably like a few hours before the show, and you should feel free to eat. And, you know, and like it's not like people were saying to us, like the organizers were saying to us, like, you know, girls, you can't eat or whatever. But it's just crazy how like, you know, in that environment, it's just so normalized and stuff. So that's one thing I didn't like. But anyways, after the Oxford fashion show, I got scouted to do the London and Paris fashion show, and I was so excited, you guys, because you can imagine from like June of like 2016 when I got into my gap year and I started doing the whole modeling thing with, you know, castings and stuff like that. I finally got like a little, you know, little break, and like all my hard work had paid off, you know. And it was a really, really like, you know, special moment for me. But then it was like 3 days before the show and they decided to just like drop me out. Long story short, guys, the people at the fashion show were pretty much just saying I was too fat for them to put me into the show, which is like, you know, if I don't fit in with the industry standards, that's fair enough. But then I feel like I've always had a moderately just like, you know, positive relationship with food and my body and my self-esteem and stuff, up until obviously with my A-levels and like my health condition, stuff like that, just, you know, affecting how I felt about myself in general. And I felt like the more I exposed myself to this industry, the more I was just, you know, making myself prone to like just, you know, have just a really poor like self-image, you know. And I just didn't think it was worth it, especially because I just realized just the longer I was in it for that it just wasn't something that I wanted to do long term. I didn't want to be picked on about my bone structure or about, you know, the size of my hips or, you know, my, I don't know, waist size and all of this kind of stuff. So I pretty much just, you know, stopped doing that. And then I was like, you know what, I want to do something fun with my gap year. I want to actually experience life, do things. So I think I remember after, like, you know, they dropped me, I was like, fine, that's, you know, that's just life. So I booked my first ever holiday by myself, going to a foreign country all on my own. It was actually a really big deal because every time I'd visited a country up until that point, I'd always done it with my family. So doing it all by myself was a big deal. I ended up going to Nice in France for about 4 or 5 days, and it was a really fun experience. And I think I would definitely recommend for anybody to try and just go and see the world on your own. I feel like obviously I went to one country, but you know what I'm trying to say, because I feel like you push yourself, like, you know, you having a negative or positive experience, it's not dependent on the people around you, it's dependent on yourself. How, you know, are you willing to put yourself out there, go experience stuff on your own? Are you willing to, you know, just like do things that you're not really comfortable with? And I think like all of those things kind of like led to me just like pushing myself out of my comfort zone and everything. And then I remember, I think it was March as well of 2017, the same month, at the end of the month, is when I first came back from France. I decided to buy a gym membership and actually seriously start like getting into like the whole working out and stuff like that. I will do a separate video on that, but pretty much like I was just like, it's time to make a change, girl, and it's gonna happen now. So yeah, I got going to the gym. I also remember, I think a month later or something, I can't remember exactly, I went to see Drake at the Boy Meets World tour in Birmingham, and that was amazing. Like, guys, honestly, it was just one of the best nights of my life because I'm a massive Drake fan. So it was just like it's just what I needed. Do you know what I mean? Like, after just the whole like few months of rejection and all that stuff, it was just a break that I needed. And yeah, I remember that summer, later on, a few months later, I think it was August, me and my friends decided, me and my two best friends who I'm still like really close with right now, we decided to go on like a girls' holiday. Again, my first girls' holiday to Portugal, and that was really, really fun. We went for about, I think, 7 days, so it was actually a pretty long holiday. And it was right before we all went to uni. I think at that time I realized I was kind of ready to go into university and everything, like, and yeah, it was, you know, in the end it was a really good experience. But I will say this, like, you know, it didn't come with, you know, just all flowers and roses and stuff like that. Like, there was some good bits, like good highlights, like, you know, I got into like a really good relationship, I think, in my gap year. Yeah, it was like one that just lasted like for a pretty long time. I'm not really gonna get into that because that's like my personal life. And obviously, like, I met some really cool people, I experienced some really cool things, I like built my confidence, like going to the gym, starting my YouTube, just traveling and stuff like that. But then there were also like some disappointing moments, like, you know, I lost out on some friendships because I feel like when you get to A level, so when you're around like, you know, 18, wherever you're about to go to university, sometimes the people who like you thought were going to be your friends for life, sometimes they're not really the people who you thought they were, or you just like kind of outgrow you know, those people, and that's okay and that's fine. But all in all, I would 100% recommend that somebody does a gap year. Like, so if you're thinking about it, I really think you should. I think without my gap year, I was just not going to be able to get to know myself in the way that I know myself now. You know, I pushed myself in just so many ways. I grew my self-confidence, my self-esteem, you know, and like, even though I was once very extroverted, I'm more introverted now, but I feel like, you know, I kind of got comfortable with spending time by myself, because I think before I was so dependent on like the company of others. And I feel like with self-love, you need to be, you know, comfortable in your own company, because then it's like, if you're not comfortable in your own company, how then can you embrace other people's company? And like, you know, and I think it's a really good thing to do as well right before university, because in university I saw so many people change. Like, the people from like in the first week of first year, who they were, to like at the end of first year, it was just two completely different people, you know what I mean? And I think like when you take your gap year, sometimes you get to know yourself a bit more, to the point where it's like you're not going to be easily swayed or easily influenced by other people, and like, you know, their beliefs, and like, you know, what it is they think is cool or is right or whatever. And like, when I got to university, I didn't feel the need to always, you know, have to be the center of attention, or always have to party, or, you know, like kind of downplay how much I love fitness in the gym just because people think it's like more cool to be drinking and stuff like that, you know what I mean? I think like I've really got to be so confident in myself and like who I was, such that like, you know, opinions of others didn't really affect how I felt about myself. So I definitely think, you know, if you are thinking about taking a gap year, you really should, because it will be a journey of self growth, realizing, you know, who you are, what you want to do and stuff. It's not, you know, it's not going to give you all the answers, but I feel like it will enable you to like get to know yourself a bit better. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and remember to give this video a like, comment and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in my next video. See ya.